Meeting to order at 6:30 PM on Monday, the 3rd of June, year 2024. And I would look for a motion to go into closed session.
I will do that.
Thank you, Bruce. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Megan.
Chapman?
Okay, now we need a roll call.
Okay, Howery,
Yes.
Mooney,
Yes.
Fessler,
Yes.
Chapman,
Yes.
and Fisher. Yes.
Okay, so we are in closed session at 6:31.
And I will end the call for everyone. We'll return when open session is back in session.
Okay. So we are back in open session. It is 7 o'clock, and we will start with our consent agenda items. We have minutes. Let me check it, to be sure here. Minutes of the May 20th, 2024 school board meeting. We have some professional staffing recommendations. And we have some co-curricular staffing recommendations. And we have some personnel items unnecessary for vote. So I would look for a motion to,
Also have the administrator, supervisor, and director compensation under the consent agenda as well.
oh, that's correct. That's correct. Oh, yep, there it is, 3D. Administrator, supervisor, and director compensation. As part of the consent agenda items, do I hear a motion?
I move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you.
I can second that.
Thank you. All those in favor, please signify.
Can we have discussion first?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Tom.
I guess I won't be able to support the items that are listed under administrator, supervisor, and director of compensation, just based on the time involved at this point.
Timing is, yes. Any other discussion?
Yeah, I would like to just say that I'm really very proud to be associated with a school where I've had some administrators willing to forego any kind of pay raise in their salaries. I just think it's, I think it shows that they are working with everyone towards this goal of showing this district that we're being fiscally responsible. And I also, I'm very, I don't want to say I'm disappointed, but I feel it's too bad we can't give these people, this district finished second in all of Dane County. It's like, you know, you've just achieved this incredible goal, and the reward for that is, well, we're going to give you a 2% pay raise at a time where inflation is much greater than that. So again, I applaud the people who are not taking any salary increase, and the fact that another group of administrators are going to be, in a sense, held back to what they probably deserve. But I do believe we are all in this together, and I think this community needs to know that. So that would be my, I guess, comment.
Well said. Anyone else? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No?
Motion carries 4-1. Okay, next we have public comments, and we do have one, so I would do this short read first, and then we will proceed. In accordance with School Board Policy 167.3, the McFarland School Board welcomes public comment during regular meetings from individuals who are present at the meeting or who have sent an email to the board president or superintendent. Participants are required to register to speak upon arriving at the meeting, state their name, address, and any group affiliation before speaking, address only topics within the legitimate jurisdiction of the board, recognize that the board will not respond to comments during the meeting unless the item is on the published agenda. Limit their comments to under 5 minutes or 250 written words, and of course, maintain decorum. So, I do understand that we have someone here to make,
Thanks.
welcome.
All right. A little stop. Love you to keep track of it yourself. All right. Thank you. My name is Melanie Roback. I'm a parent of 2 here and one of about 30 community members from that referendum engagement group with a full range of perspectives, at times tense, but constructive, enlightening. I'm surprised by the budget, the extreme, tight level of fiscal responsibility. Hopefully they toot their horn a little bit better. This comment regards Mr. Tarnitzer's email update about a June survey about a November referendum. A survey is coming out today for staff and next week for the rest of us. It sounds like a 20% return rate is typical, but voter turnout in McFarland is much higher. So tell your neighbors, please, wherever the camera is, if you plan to vote in November, do yourself a favor and complete this survey during its short window of release by the end of June. Tell someone new like every day. As Mr. Tarnitzer's email explains, the survey presents 3 possible referendum amounts, 3 options used to gauge how the community balances its support for our schools and teachers with its tax tolerance. All 3 options are less than the April referendum amount and maintain the $1.2 million in cuts made already. So at this point, all options up for serious consideration in November bake in the recent $1.2 million in cuts as the new normal for the foreseeable future, like increased class sizes and fewer support staff. It's very easy to overlook these cuts if you're not in schools. But the implications of these established cuts are important for the board and community to understand, and that's why I'm here. And we'll probably be back next time. And first, to be clear, a standard education as defined by the state of Wisconsin costs what it costs. I really don't want to put anyone off, but we have to kind of own up to that, right? Like the state identifies the materials and human resources required, they add up the costs, then cap local property tax revenue for schools based on this total, except that it stopped accounting for inflation in this calculation 15 years ago. Accounting for that gap so that schools can keep doing what they do and pay their bills as usual was the point of the April referendum, plus catching up on teachers' salaries because McFarland's below average teacher pay isn't going to work with a growing teacher shortage. And actually, 86% of Wisconsin school districts have pursued referenda to pay their bills. Schools are at the mercy of their local voters to secure the necessary resources, and the state is a patchwork of yeses and nos on this, with slightly more yeses than nos. The choice to adequately fund the local schools, this is a precarious patchwork in a teacher shortage, and what sort of community do you want to live in? You know, I mean, as we weigh in through the survey, let's seriously consider how far we want to stray from the district's formula of covering the day-to-day operations as we've known them, because every option on the survey does stray in a consequential way, already mentioned, with pretty small differences in savings to taxpayers. Cuts that impact class size and education assistance, cuts that maybe pull teachers into lunch or curbside duties, actually compromise the things we tend to care most about day to day and that have the greatest impacts on quality of education. Teachers may rise to it or try because this is who they are. But ultimately, there's only one teacher in a classroom to go around and only so much time in a day, and that's it. And if there's anyone who understands the natural limits of time and being one person, it's parents, right? And really, we all know. We have to know if we're looking for more resources or teachers' attention to something, academic struggles, more challenge, more support for a behavioral plan for your child or somebody else's, right? Help for your kid, keeping track of it all, social concerns, maybe closer attention to a bullying issue. Then again, these options fall short, but also they send the message that we don't really need or expect these little extras. These are our schools. It's not charity, it's enlightened self-interest, whether you have kids in the district or not. It's an investment, and it's not just the kids that get what we pay for. We all get it. It's easy to forget this when education is a strength, and I know it's expensive, but places that inadequately fund education really suffer the consequences. Skip. All right, it's the last week of school, and the survey was released to teachers today, asking them during this totally bonkers week about their support for 3 options that all chip away at their ability to do their job. Let's give our thanks in huge numbers. Remembering special subject teachers and support staff too. No note is too simple. No gift card is too big, I'm sure. Thanks.
Thank you, Melanie. Thanks. Okay, moving on. Mr. Tarnitzer, review the staff survey results.
Think that we have our student, our high school
that
student report
next?
first?
Yes.
Oh, shoot. My bad.
In case you didn't notice, there's a couple people.
I can't believe I messed that
That's who
one.
that is.
I can't
Yeah.
believe that.
And, yeah, they look different in person.
So how shall we do this?
Yeah, so,
Are you doing it in person?
You're gonna give us our report in person. Yay.
Crowding you?
Yes, you
Yeah,
you
okay,
four.
you guys got it.
We believe you.
So,
You got this.
you wanna go in front of them?
Yay!
Yeah. Oh, so I'm here. I feel like you. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, right there.
Oh, actually.
Oh, right here?
Yep, right here.
The room is yours.
You guys want to share?
No, it's right. I don't know.
Should we be in order?
What's it?
Report.
Come sit.
So they represent a lot of different things.
Yeah, the guests.
So these are all Connect Club members, and most of, all of them will be carrying on, to our exec board next year, so I will let you guys.
Go ahead. Hi, my name is Ava Vincent. I was on the exec board for Connect for the past 2 years, and next year I will be president.
I'm Jade Galindo, and I'm a sophomore, and I'm a member of Connect.
I'm Evie Vidrio. I'm a member of Connect. I'll be on exec board next year.
I'm Riley Keller, also with Connect, and I'm gonna be on the board next year too.
What year is it you two?
Sophomores.
Sophomore, sorry, wonderful.
All right, so we're going to do the McFarland High School Student Report for June 3rd, 2024. So our highlights, what's going on at MHS. So we had the Senior Sunrise Plus video on Friday. So on Friday, our seniors began their day with watching the sunrise, marking the end of the school year. As Ms. Wink stated, this is the most students we have ever attend. In addition, a senior video debuted in the PAC created by Elena. What's her name? Eliana Velas. There we go. Yes.
Four? Okay. On Friday, May 31st, the class of 2024 had their senior celebration day, which included waking up early to see the sunrise as a class, decorating the parking lot, eating breakfast, premiering the senior class video, and parading around McFarland District schools in their caps and gowns.
So on Wednesday, May 22nd, there was the Senior Scholarship Night, and there was over 80 seniors gathered to receive scholarships from the community for their post-high school plans. Thank you to the McFarland Education Foundation for creating this program and providing so many students with financial assistance for their future.
On May 23rd and the 24th, members of the community came to provide our senior class with the opportunity for a senior exit interview. Students were able to provide feedback on their entire K-12 experience and shout out influential staff members.
So the APUSH and AP Gov trip to the Capitol on May 21st, our AP US and AP Gov classes visited the Capitol. There, students heard from Interim Dane County Executive Patrick Miles, State Senator Melissa Argid, and legislative staff from Tony Evers' office. Our State Assembly Representative Jimmy Anderson and Wisconsin State Supreme Court Justice, oh my gosh, so many words, and then Ziegler, Jesus. For AP Gov, students used research from their final project to ask relevant policy questions.
This past weekend, the MHS Hope Squad got together to hide kindness rocks around McFarland. Be on the lookout for some cool rocks decorated by our members.
On May 24th, the MHS's equity groups hosted the second annual World Market Night. This event raised approximately $1,400 and partnered with Monona Bakery, Happy Walk, and North of the Bayou for an incredible experience. Raffle items were also donated by the community, and the funds will go towards supporting Culture Week in future years.
This year was the pilot run of Culture Week. There was a display of clothing items set up throughout throughout the week from 11 different students and staff members. There was a community movie night planned, but due to weather, it was canceled. This was a great start to a bigger and better event in the future years.
The Memory Project, so Zero Bell and Koratesh participated in this year's Memory Project, where they created portraits of Syrian refugee children. These images were then gifted to them as something to keep.
The band concert and senior video. The MHS bands performed their final concert of the year last Wednesday. The Pop-Ups concert, which included songs from The Incredibles, West Side Story, and La La Land. The seniors also got to debut the video they created and be recognized for their time in the program.
There was also the choir concert. MHS choir had their last performance with the exception of graduation. After studying what makes an anthem in class, they got the opportunity to perform them for our community.
The MHS Yearbook Club had worked hard this year, and the long-awaited 2023 and 2024 yearbook has been released. Fantastic work to the yearbook team for crafting a wonderful yearbook and for all the time they spent keeping track of the memories made at MHS this year. Special shout out to the seniors Marissa Huffner and Elena. Eliana, sorry, Felice, for all their hard work.
DECA trip to the Mallards. On May 28th, DECA traveled to Warren Park for a Career in Sports Day. Along with 4 other local DECA chapters, students heard from the president, marketing director, VP of corporate sponsorships, and VP of corporate ticket sales, followed by attending the opening Madison Mallards game of the season. They also competed in a theme night business pitch competition.
The jazz bands performed their final concert of the season on Sunday. The bands got to experience performing an outdoor concert for the first time.
There was the Probability Carnival. So students in the Algebra 2 class, which I'm in, have the opportunity to showcase their skills this week at having class carnivals displaying the games they created. Students from other class played the games to help the game makers gather data to compare against their calculated probabilities. I thought it was really fun.
All right, coming up, what will be going on at MHS?
The class of 2024 will be holding its graduation ceremony on June 9th in the MHS A Gym. The ceremony will start at 11 a.m. Congratulations to graduating seniors.
Woo woo! All right, athletics updates. Oh, that's me. MHS's own Boys Unlimited Frisbee team participated in the state tournament where they were knocked out in the quarterfinals after a successful earlier tournament. The team finished 7th against other area high schools. Congrats to the team on all their accomplishments this season.
The past weekend, MHS track took to La Crosse to compete in the WIAA state competition. School records are highlighted. The girls' pole vault got 3rd place with Julia Ackley. Girls' long jump got 2nd place with Rachel Keel. Girls' shot put got 6th place with Kayla Lander did. Girls' 200-meter dash got 7th place with Rachel Keel, again. Girls' 100 hurdles got 4th place with Julia Ackley, again.
And then here's more results. The boys 800 meter got 2nd place with Spencer Alf. Boys 1600 meter, this was a school record, got 3rd place with Spencer Alf. Then the boys 3200 meter got 5th place with Isaac Ewing. And the boys 4x200 meter relay got 5th place with Andrew Kelly, Brady Krenz, Cade Korth, Remy Burns, Liam Chapman, and Trey Zadra. And then another school record was with the boys 4x800 meter relay, and they got 1st place with Weston Fisher, Brock Spiegel, Spencer Alf, Isaac Ewing, Henry Pieck, and Leo Friedman. And overall, they got 4th place.
And a school record.
And the school.
Crushed it.
The MHS girls soccer team became Division III regional champions for the 4th year in a row. They will be playing Evansville at the sectional semifinals this Thursday at home at 7 p.m.
And for some student staff updates. So our staff shout outs for this week with Miss Stacy and Miss Latifa, I believe I'm saying that wrong. So Miss Stacy is always smiling and laughing with students. Quote, I appreciate her conversation and joking that lift my spirits on some of the bad days. Miss Latifa, there we go, is always so happy to see all of the students in the cafeteria. She's always such a kind and helpful member of the food service team. All right, Mr. Odin was our other one. And it says, Mr. Odin makes class fun and enjoyable, and his students really like being there each day. He works hard to get to know his students and make class relatable to their lives.
And now, that was our feature presentation.
No, we have a feature.
We have a featured presentation.
From the seniors.
Good job, guys.
Well done.
Good job.
I love how you were sitting back there like proud parents.
That's right, that's what it was. Look at them,
Proud
parents.
Good job.
Yeah, that was surreal.
The link on the previous slide. Our names are switched out.
You taught them well, you prepared them
That's
well.
right. The
Nice
torch
job.
has been passed.
Stop sharing for a moment.
Look at us. Hey, we're on day. This is so weird.
We've all been looking at your faces for quite some time, so, up on that screen.
That's true.
Here you are, IRL and everything.
For real,
Whoa.
I'm
Use that
impressed.
lingo.
Yeah, I'm always 2 years
IKR.
behind, so.
I know, right?
So just thanks for what you guys have done.
I had
You
to
guys
think about
have
that
done an
one.
amazing job.
Okay.
Ooh, the year in review.
Hey everyone, welcome to our Connect Year in Review as presented by the Connect class of 2024. So, you may have seen our faces, but you may be wondering who we are. So, my name is Val and I am the current Connect president.
I'm Nadia, and I have been the Civic Engagement Coordinator for Connect.
I'm Annabelle, I'm the Event Management Coordinator.
And I'm Joanne, and I'm the Admin Relations Coordinator.
Got some cute little pictures of us, just in case you want. They'll be back, don't worry. And this is our wonderful advisor. She's even here today, Miss McAleer. Yeah, and not only does she advise Connect, but she co-advises Model UN, and she's a fantastic AP Psych and Psychology teacher and a world history teacher as well. Couldn't do it without you, Miss McAleer. I can't even do it well.
Is that the?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
I know.
Oh, wow.
All right, and then, so this year we've had some goals. So one of our goals this year is to connect students with administration, the school board, and the village. We've also tried to foster a connection between students and staff, encourage students to use their voice, present resources to stay civically engaged, and connect equity-based groups in the village and the school. So,
We've done pretty well.
and I think we've done pretty well.
I hope. Yeah, so as a club, even in our short 3 years that we've been around, we've started some traditions that I think have made a very positive impact on our school and our community. This includes school board presentations, you're witnessing live and right now, monthly meetings with our administration team at the high school, polling place field trips to help students learn more about being involved with that, students serving on hiring committees, which is an incredible experience, staff shout-outs to recognize our awesome staff members, because Ms. McAleer is certainly not the only one. Bell nominations to help move our day along in a bit more fun manner, and the World Market Night support, which helps not only inform students in our community about different cultures, but raise money and raise awareness for issues.
So this year, I don't know why I have a Wisconsin accent, sorry guys, was practicing yesterday. This year, we started our first ever equity picnic. Some key facts about that. We had 70+ students attend from grades 8 to 12, as well as 9 different student organizations were represented. We had the village board president and some of you in attendance, as well as raising $950 through our community to feed us and also supplement the Connect account. Here at this equity picnic, where our keynote speaker was actually Mr. Tarnitzer himself, we had workshops, club action planning, intermix action planning, and overall a day of bonding between the student bodies of the high school in 8th grade.
All right, and then this is another event, Date Night with Connect, which actually our 3rd annual date night happened last Friday. We have had a lot of kids, a lot, but there were a lot of volunteers to help with that, and it ran quite smoothly. We raised a lot of money,
Yeah.
$1,600, and then we keep some for ourselves, and then half of the profits are going to Arts for All. And then Miss Buzalaki, she provided us the idea for Date Night with Connect 3 years ago. Hope she's doing well. Miss her.
Shout out to Lucky.
And then another thing we did this year, early in the year, is we helped out with Community Week, which is a student-led initiative by the student council. So we watercolor painted some kindness cards and added candy to some bags, and we handed them out for free to students as a way to just encourage kindness in our school that week.
Also, the polling place volunteering is another thing we've been engaging in for, I think, the last 2 years, and we did it this year again. Kind of expanded it a little bit, so at the April election, members of our club, you have to be over 16, but we're able to go down to the polling place and learn about some of the things that they do and actually get to be involved, whether it's like directing voters or helping open the absentee ballots, and just get to learn more about that process works, especially for students who aren't able to vote yet, getting to be a part of that process in the election and have their stake in democracy.
Forgot to mention Nadia was an election inspector, so also big shout out to Nadia for doing her duty as
Yes.
civic engagement.
I had to go back and hand count all the ballots because there was a mix-up. It was very late at night. I'm really glad we don't live in a big city where I would have had to deal with so many more ballots.
Okay, so our time is almost up, but we have a couple more things. But introducing our 2024 to 2025 exec board. 4 of them are here today. The other 2 could not make it. Our president for the 2024 whatever year is Ava Vincent. Our brand management coordinator will be Maddie Boehm. You've probably seen her in a million pictures as well. Our event management coordinator will be Riley Keller. Our community engagement coordinator will be Evie Vidrio. Did I say that? Let's go. Civic engagement coordinator will be Olivia Tierney, and our administrative relations coordinator will be Jade Galinda Solcado. Yes! Let's go.
Somebody rehearsed. Well rehearsed.
All right, and then our future plans as a board. Valerie will be attending UW-Madison, Joey as well, and I will be taking a gap year to work and travel, see the world a little bit.
Yes.
And then Nadia will be going to Washington.
I will be
For a
so
while.
far away.
Washington.
Under UW.
Yes, the other UW.
Husky.
And then that's a picture of us during our walkthrough
Oh,
on
sure.
Friday.
Oh,
In caps and gowns.
That's great.
So fun.
And then we have some just a little something to give you guys just for providing us with this opportunity. Is that that's all? Yes. Okay, wait, just gonna find that. There you go, guys.
Doing great. You got it, Joey?
There we go. For you.
Oh, we didn't need to do that.
Don't trip.
Thank
She's like running the gauntlet.
I'm the
out
new
here.
one. Thank you.
You got included.
Absolutely. For you. For you.
Thank you, Joey.
And Angie got hers. We did not forget her.
Awkward.
It's okay.
Okay. And then, of course, we have to give a special shout out to Joey because, one, it's just Joey, and Joey always deserves a special shout out, but also because they have been
Yeah.
constructing the school board meetings and attending all of them and getting to really know all of you for the last 3 years. And really, you got to dive in head first when nobody else had done this before, and you kind of started it off. So, yay, Joey!
That all being said, if you want to see the kid pictures again.
Thank you.
For our final ever school board meeting, do you have any questions for us?
No, just a couple of comments though. Again, it's phenomenal with what you've been able to do. I mean, each week when you come here, it's, you know, thrilled to listen to everything that you're doing. It's unbelievable. I think the year in review, that's really close to my heart, because I think it's important to go back from the past year, and see what all that's been accomplished. And when you add all that up and you see it all in one place, it is unbelievable.
Well said.
So I know it took a lot of your time, commitment, vision for this all to
Yeah.
happen, so thanks again for coordinating this. A couple other things. You mentioned the exit interviews. I was part of that. And again, the students had the option of giving staff shout-outs. I heard a lot of staff shout-outs. Mostly about high school staff, but some elementary, middle school, intermediate school. Their ideas on what could we make things better. Really well thought out answers. And I know they're compiling all that data now to see where we take it from there. The scholarship night, I was able to be there. There were 2 podiums, and you were probably on the stage, so you couldn't observe this. But when the speaker on podium 1 spoke, all your heads turned there. When the speaker on podium 2 spoke, everyone just turned their head the other way. It was like watching a tennis match. But very well deserved. The other thing you talked about, 4 DECA chapters were at the Mallards
Yes.
thing. Was McFarland the largest chapter?
We were the largest chapter. We had around 30-something kids. The other chapters had maybe 10 each.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them were kind of rural, so give them some credit.
But again, just a great reflection on the support that you provide each other and the district provides the different opportunities for kids here. And Ms. Meckler, thank you for your guidance and support.
We love Miss McAleer.
Yeah.
Anybody else? I just want to thank you. You bring a positivity to the meeting that sometimes is hard to find in places. And I honestly believe that your group is what high school students are really all about. You guys do one good thing after another. You care about others, and you're living, what this district's mission is, and that's to be inclusive and just do the best that we can with the resources that we've got. And you folks really did bring a light to the meetings every week, and I can't thank you enough. And I think we appreciate you more than you know.
Well said. Yes, you're the only.
I just want to give you a hug.
You are the only people I've had as superintendent, right? And no offense, it's gonna take a while for me to warm up to all of you all. I'm just sad to see you guys go in a lot of ways. I can't thank you enough. I think you're a real inspiration for us. You remind us why this is important. You keep it centered. We do have a thank you, which is sugar. Share, so you'll have to share, but I think the bookends were the ones that were on.
Yes, you do get them.
At home the most, but you can definitely share. But we really do think you've really set a tough example for them, but they're ready. They're here tonight and they did a great job, so. As you sat back there cheering them on.
We will miss you. You really will.
Standing on the shoulders of giants.
And you guys are gonna do amazing things, so don't forget that, okay?
Come back and visit us.
Yeah, please do.
Good luck next year.
And we'll see you on Sunday.
Absolutely.
And bring Kleenex, okay? I've sat through some of these and I just bawl my eyes out,
I think I probably cried harder last year than I will this year.
That happens.
It's true.
Well, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
And we will miss you.
Thanks, guys.
Well, you can stop by anytime. It's a public meeting. Zoom in.
Maybe we will.
Thank you. I gotta follow that.
We are very lucky.
Somebody warned me there was gonna be crying.
That can happen now and then.
I kept
That
it
can
together. I
happen.
was pretty proud.
I'm gonna have to dehydrate myself.
Usually it's me though.
You did too?
Me.
Oh,
True.
All right, moving along now, we can review the staff survey results. Mr. Tarnitzer.
All right, well, welcome here, everybody. That's a tough act to follow, but I will do my best. So this is our third in our series of survey results presentations. You had the student survey results earlier, and then you had the parent guardian survey results, and now we have the staff survey results. So I'm gonna, I'll do my best to highlight these for you. I sent you some additional information and did print some things for you. So I'm gonna go over kind of the main points, but welcome your thoughts and questions as well. Reminder, this is a survey that is done through our third-party school perceptions, and that's really important. It gives a sense of anonymity to our staff because it's all done through a third party. We have no way of identifying who's responding, and they also do an excellent job helping design the questions and providing the results in a way that's understandable. We had about a 57% participation rate. I think it was 56 last year, so 210 people across areas. You can see the breakdown by school is pretty proportionate to the amount of staff in those locations. In terms of description, in terms of role description, they do have some different categories, and actually I think we may need to look at changing those because we tend to use more of the term educational assistant. We don't really use paraprofessional, but for our purposes, you can kind of group them together. And I would say, in looking at those numbers, I would say it's possible our classroom teachers may be a little bit underrepresented, but a fairly accurate distribution of our staff. You can see the years in the district. This would be pretty proportionate, although I would say we're probably a little bit overrepresented in those, in the kind of the 1 to 5 year categories there for this data. Remember, this is the second year of doing this survey, and it's really helpful to look at the percent that agree and strongly agree. It tends to be how we look at this. We also have comparison data now. The data is average across buildings, so no, there are differences between buildings, and buildings have been reviewing those as building teams and their building results. In those comparisons, know that it's compared to similar sized districts in the state, which is a limited number, and so small changes can make huge impacts on the comparisons. So just some overall strengths to start. All 4 indexes increased, which is really outstanding. All items, individual items, except for 3 showed improvements from last year. We'll talk about those 3, but that's pretty dramatic for us. In most areas, you'll see a significant portion of staff agree, strongly agree. One of the things I did want to highlight is the overall satisfaction was strong across, but increased at the high school by 21%. That is huge. That is huge. We'll never see that much of a jump again because it's impossible. You'd be off the charts. You'd be off the charts to go any higher. So, some things that jumped off that cut across is the overall the 98% feel that staff does a good job of educating students. 95% feel safe at work, and that's an increase of 7.3 from last year. And if you remember, those of you that were on the board last year, we did discuss this a little bit, and that was something we were concerned about, was that number. So that increased. You see that 87% feeling proud of our district and 86% feeling that staff input is valued, and that's up 14%. So a real significant jump there. If you look at we have some themes. So a big one is about discipline and behavior being more consistent and more effective. So you can see that the increase in consistency up 12% and effective up 10%. So really attribute that to our bullying prevention intervention plan and progressive behavior response plan that we've been implementing and will be expanded next year. Communication being timely, effective, and clear. You see those increases there in terms of timely, effective communication, clear communication, and many comments about a unified communication plan and how much that has helped the weekly newsletters across buildings with a district section included. So that was well received. Nice increases in administration and valuing and supporting staff. You can see those results up 13% in the percent of staff that feel that they're valued by building admin and feel supported by administration when they're making decisions and feel they're getting useful feedback in their work. So those are really key indicators of a strong administrative team, so a lot to be proud of there. Relationships, continue to feel very strong relationships amongst our coworkers. One of the things that we've noticed is people feeling really connected within their teams and departments and less connected across the building and between buildings. As you know, we're moving to bringing back curriculum councils, which was where we bring together staff from across the district next year. So we're hopeful that that will help, as well as other building-wide efforts to increase connections. Feeling access to technology, support, materials, and that's been really important. You see those 94 and 92%, and I'm thinking not many districts can say that. Student social emotional needs, that was something we were really worried about with the results last time, and you see this increase of 15% for people feel like those needs are being met. We feel like that is largely a result of the increased student services staff members that are able to provide additional support. In training, people feel like they've gotten more training to work with students from different backgrounds. 85% strongly agree. So that's an increase of 5% and in 89th percentile compared to other similar sized districts. So, I have to say that Brittany Brazel, as the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Coordinator, is a significant contributor to that. So we are grateful for her and excited for her second year. We do have some growth areas. Overall, the biggest change that we saw was about feeling that parents in the community support the district. Staff, only 65% felt either strongly agreed or agreed to that statement, and that's the drop of 13%. As you look at the comments, you can see there's some connection to the failed referendum and just concerns about fiscal stability, which is also reflected in the next question, which is only 69% feel the district is headed in the right direction. So you see kind of this difference between feeling, supported, feeling like we're doing a great job educating students, but supported by administration and our colleagues, and a bit of a drop. It's still, positive, but not what we're used to. Only 55% feel the district pay practices are fair. We plan to, continue to address our budget gaps in, as much as we can, and try to, with the extent that our budget allows, compensate staff as the board has done for next year. Continue to be some concerns about discipline and behavior, although we've seen significant increases, so we don't want to minimize that. But the effectiveness and consistency is something that we're still working on, and we'll expand with our efforts with the progressive response to behavior and bullying plan. What you see in the comments is some discussion of inconsistency across staff and an acknowledgement that just a few students can really have a large impact on behavior. Other growth areas, just equitable opportunities for students from different economic backgrounds. You'll see that in the chart when we get to that. Really jumped out as something that's separated from other areas. So we need to explore that a little bit more and what those barriers are, we do a lot of things to allow kids to access, co-curriculars and other opportunities. Just kind of wondering what are we missing there? And then workload, while some of these showed some nice increases, workload continues to be an issue with only 2% strongly agreed that they are able, it should say, to sustain a healthy work-life balance, and 73 feeling that the amount of work they're asked to do is reasonable or manageable. So yes, it's improving. We're headed in the right direction by focusing on priorities, but there's still work to do, and that was noted in the comments. I would say one of the areas that we're really paying attention to is the impact of standards-based grading on teacher workload, particularly in grades 6 through 12. So finding ways to be more effective and efficient there. As we get into the index, you can see these and how they increased and the comparisons, some nice increases here for you to see across these areas. And reminder, the index, what they do is they take multiple questions and then put them together into one score. The engagement, so that second one, and staff experience, the last one, those are key performance indicators for the district. So that's how we measure the effectiveness, some of the ways that we measure the effectiveness of our strategic plan. So very excited to see those increase despite some of the challenges we experienced this year. This is also a good indicator, I think, is how likely are you to recommend the district. So a slight increase from last year, not much, very close to the comparison. So still something I think we need to pay attention to and work on. We see more green than other colors, but it is something to pay attention to. And then getting into items, there's a lot here, so I'm gonna try to expedite this and welcome your questions. I highlighted some things in yellow that I thought just kind of jumped out to me. Just seeing the change from last year in all of these scores, of these top 5 scores. So they're sorted by change, so that's why those are that high, but wow, that is impressive. And in areas that really matter, which I've mentioned previously. And then these bottom 5, which I've also mentioned. So you can see some of those with the greatest change being parents and communities supporting the district. Getting into overall workday, you can see these high percentages, 94s and 95s in these areas, which I mentioned earlier, and the positive changes. I love this. I feel comfortable sharing input and concerns with my supervisor, seeing that nice increase there, and being in the 70th percentile in comparison. Access to technology, which I mentioned, the relationships with coworkers. Most days I look forward going to work. That was something that was troubling last year with a 3.73. We're up to 3.94 this year on a 5-point. So it's something to pay attention to. Certainly not great compared to the comparisons. In environment, you can see a lot of jumps in this area, some of which I've mentioned previously largely about communications. I love this. All students in our school are respected for their values and beliefs, a nice increase there. Again, you see the staff doing a good job educating our students, handling discipline, getting that feedback and the policies. I've mentioned those. That training I mentioned earlier, supporting students from diverse backgrounds, certainly those two things go together, and support from administration. The social emotional learning needs come up again here, and then here was that message to you about pay practices being fair, being a concerning area. Continuing with support, this is where you see that being valued by building administration. 87% agree, strongly agree. Love to see that be 100, but we are pleased with a 12.6 jump. And in terms of support, how well we provide equitable opportunities, this is where you can see that difference. If you look across those areas, you see that 85% being the lowest among these categories. So that's something, and then you see the comparison being so low. That's definitely something to pay attention to. And then I am proud of our district is 87%, and I think is agree, strongly disagree. And I do wonder, is there some influence from the referendum? I don't know. The number's exactly the same as last year, which is rare for all of the data that we have. So that was a very rapid fire, but I welcome questions, thoughts, observations that the board has.
Any great big surprises for you? You think?
Yes. I was really surprised about the parent community support.
Yeah.
Being where it's at.
Yeah.
That I think people on a person-to-person basis feel supported by the families that they work with, but I think the vote, to some people, can be interpreted as a sign that they don't, have the support that you thought they did.
Do you think part of that is due to groupthink? In other words, I think the community has been very supportive of the schools. We have the failed referendum. But then groups of people teachers start talking about, staff talk about, we don't feel we're supported anymore. I feel that may be more groupthink than individual think.
Could be.
Because individually, they're still supportive, but, we have our work to do to regain that financial support.
I wonder if it also has, any teacher who read any part of the community Facebook group comments, it is demoralizing. There's nothing better, no better way to say it. Even though it's from a select few, really. Unfortunately, social media has, I think, more impact on mental health than anything. And, if that's what you keep seeing all the time, and it's harder to get that voice of support from the keyboard,
No, that's right.
Well, and even
So-
if you look at just like the basic algorithm, it's gonna obviously like populate it to the top, and so you have to dig deeper to find the positivity.
Right, right.
Well,
So
and words do matter.
Absolutely.
They do.
Just
yeah.
like the words that Melanie shared tonight. Those are the words that staff should be hearing.
Right,
And
right.
she's very optimistic, she has strategies on how we can move forward. Those are the things that we have to hear more of.
Yeah.
Well, the truth of the matter is, that's kind of a good segue for me, because I'm just so glad we're doing this. We need to do these things, and we can dig deep through it. It's interesting, and I hope people aren't gonna be bored with this, but, having taught here as long as I did, it was interesting for me to see the survey. Some of the things I guess I could relate to. I would have said, oh yeah, that hasn't changed a whole lot. But some things really stood out. I just had a list of things. The referendum failing, one of the things that's concerning to me is the number of staff who are worried about how compensation won't be able to keep up, or class sizes are gonna go up. And so I hope the public understands this. This is gonna be difficult. Number two is an interesting one, the balancing academics with meeting, social and emotional needs. And in some ways, the fact that we kind of had, when I went through the survey, you could see both. To me, that's a good sign, because there's gonna be always, it's a balance. And trying to find that, it's hard, but, have high expectations, yet at the same time take care of, mental health. Standard-based grading. I know when I retired, it was the year afterwards that they started that, and I know that's been difficult, and I think it's something that is probably ongoing. Communication, particularly, there was some concern about, administration of staff, but also to the community. And I keep saying, Mr. Tarnitzer, you wear an awful lot of hats, and I don't know how you can do what you do, but I'm gonna say that in some ways, at some point, where our school is getting to the point where we need to start thinking about some kind of a communication director. I just don't think you can do everything. Time. I can remember when I ran for this 3 years ago, that's what I kept on saying. And one of the things that's been very disappointing for me as a teacher, or excuse me, as a board member, is the fact that the thing that could probably help more than anything resolve that issue with time would be to kind of revamp our calendar. It's been hard to get even some of the staff to go along with it. Because there are things that we could do that would make it, I guess I'd say nothing else, more humane. Slow down, extend it by a week or whatever. I just think it would be healthy for everybody. And I think, quite honestly, parents would actually enjoy having kids in school an extra week. I think they would.
Year-round school, I'm just kidding.
Well, you know what, the agrarian
It's working
calendar
in
was
some
fine
places.
at one point. Discipline, I just remember as a teacher, my principal, I won't name his name, but he said, no one student has the right to take away the rest of your class, their right to learn. And again, trying to find that balance, that's ongoing, but I think it's something that is still there. And the one that I thought was interesting was 15 years in the district to get full retirement benefits. There was a couple comments about that. And I think that's something that maybe we need to even consider. And then one that was interesting is, and I think it's going to keep changing, it's going to keep growing, is ESL, English Second Language, that we need more resources. And again, we're talking about a referendum, and I just want the public to realize this is, it's a, you can only cut your way to so much growth. After at some point, you're really cutting, and you're going to get into really, I guess, making our schools worse. And then I was concerned about the relationships, but I think it's better. And I know this was something that really was affected by the pandemic, but the fact that so many people could identify with their teams and saying their teams were great, their department was great, but then getting to know the rest of their staff. And I think that's something, we've gotten bigger. When I first started here, everyone knew everybody, and that's changed. There was no middle school at that point. There was basically the elementary Conard Elvium, and then there was the high school, which was 712. And so that's kind of be understood, but, let's maintain that small town kind of feel as best we can. So I just want to applaud you again. We need these. These are really important. If nothing else, they're a way for staff to vent occasionally, and they need to do that. So I really enjoyed reading this.
Same thing. It was so many jumps in the percentages. That was, it's been a great year for all of those things. And I think it's many different reasons why. I also was pretty concerned about the staff feeling not supported by parents and community. And I wonder how much parents of students are getting in the way. Just to boil it down, I had an interaction with someone at the high school who basically called to ask, when all came said and done, to ask my permission to hold my kid accountable. And I was like, because of a really poor interaction that they had with another parent when they tried to hold the kid accountable. And I was like, yeah, do, and I think, we've done the Love and Logic class, offered that as parents, and I think, and I wonder how much that plays into that feeling. I think a lot of it is the referendum, but I think, that really takes away the autonomy that staff should be feeling to do their job, and I, and when I was finished talking to the person, she, thanked me, and I was like, you should not be thanking me for this, but I can't believe that, that I'm the exception here. And so I wonder if there's things that we can do about that, about helping staff and educators feel more empowered to do what's best for the kids, even with pushback from parents. Because there's a lot more, I think, who probably support the staff than pushback like that.
Undoubtedly.
What's that?
Undoubtedly.
Yeah.
You have vocal minorities, and sadly enough, they wield a lot of power. especially with social media. You know, 5 or 6 dedicated typers can cause a lot of problems out there, and, you know, little bits of misinformation and things like that. As much of a blessing as social, you know, media has been, it creates problems in and of itself. And I think that's gonna have to be addressed at some point.
What's unfortunate is that some people actually enjoy that power trip.
Oh, yeah.
Without
And
a
that's-
doubt.
That's what really bothers me.
Without
is
a
that
doubt.
They really, they know what they're doing. and they
Given
enjoy
way
it.
too much credibility.
Yeah.
And the challenge is how do you correct that? How do you provide accurate information out there? You certainly don't want to engage in, you know, conversations like that over social media.
Right.
So oftentimes we don't do anything. You know, and unfortunately, it's sort of like a news network out there. You know, some people just listen to the one news network, and whatever they say is gospel.
Right.
Yeah, without realizing there's a whole scope of other ways of thinking.
Right.
So,
I mean, I guess it comes down to the one-on-one
One-on-one.
interactions again, but, man. Yeah, that made me sad to feel that they're starting to feel that. And think about ways to
You got anything,
change that.
Megan?
No, I mean, I agree with what everyone is saying. Reading through, I think it was 23 pages of comments.
Just in case you were curious.
Just, yes,
Yeah.
23 pages. You know, to see the repetition of, you know, some of the topics that you touched upon, it almost made me feel better that the issues aren't selectively at one school, if that makes sense. That some of the issues are more district-wide. But like everyone else said, seeing that the staff feels that the community isn't behind them. You know, we've all chatted with staff, you know, we're all parents, and like the love that we have for our staff, we're very, very vocal about. And so the notion that our voices and the voices of those that are supporting our staff are being overshadowed, like we talked about with a few louder voices, so to speak, is disheartening. And, you know, as board members, it's so important to understand how much we want to support our teachers and to know that we are behind them, and that as a board and as a district, we probably need to do better with educating our residents about our support of them. And much like Bruce said, you know, Aaron, you're out there consistently spreading the message. And I think having someone in a communications director, manager position would probably be really helpful, because they can engage people on a social media platform, you know, in a more consistent manner.
but the bottom line is, do staff feel the board supports them? Because to me, that's more important than whether or not the community supports them.
That would be a shock.
What are we doing
If they,
to convey that?
I would be surprised if they
If
felt.
they didn't feel that we supported them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we just don't want to make assumptions, though.
I know, I understand. I looked at this as a very positive thing. You know, everything was moving, trending in the right direction. And I honestly believe it all comes from the leadership that, the big, massive leadership changes that we made. And you can almost take it back to the day. There were times you could walk around in this school last year and the year before, and the tension was almost palpable. You know, as you walked around, and this year it's just different.
But my question is, why didn't we do something sooner? Yeah, if we knew that, if we observed that, why didn't we as a board, put our hand out and say, hey, we have to make a change now. We can't wait another year or so. So, I mean, and I take ownership also as part of that.
But I think that change is difficult. It takes time. And I want to just make a nice, again, you set some goals, some things that you set out we want to change, and you'll notice that you were successful. I think you did a wonderful job. And so we'll set out, we'll get new goals. I'm really guardedly optimistic that this referendum is gonna bring us together. And we'll handle it right. I just think McFarland is a special place, and the school brings so much to this whole community, and we're gonna be successful. So I think this was a great experience, so thank you for this.
I agree.
Yep, I agree.
Well done. Anything else, sir?
Not on that. I'm not done.
Are you feeling all warm and fuzzy?
No, it doesn't hurt, but I do appreciate it. I appreciate you spending time on all of that, looking at it in detail.
Do you want Tom to do his update?
No, I
With
can,
a
I
strategic plan.
can hit strategic plan if you're ready for it.
Oh, you're still,
Yeah,
okay.
we did.
Go ahead.
All right. So we check in and provide an update on the strategic plan twice a year. So this is our update for this current like half a year. Let's say it's kind of like 1.5. And so a couple things to keep in mind is that you adopted the strategic plan in December of 2022. And then we shared it out that April, and we've been sharing it out since. We have action plans that are one-year action plans. We call them a CPR, a continuous performance report card, that we check in on regularly. So we have another one. This is one of the few times that you'll see that our plans are calendar years. So that we're partway through the 2024 plan. And we also have the key performance indicators that we'll be talking about, which also include the surveys that we've been discussing, as well as other indicators. So in terms of our first pillar, educational excellence, our objective for this year is to clearly define an equitable multi-level system of support in the district and educating staff, and build structures to support that. So that is all in pursuit of that main objective of improving academic achievement with a focus on literacy and closing gaps. What we're really trying to do is starting with what we call Tier 1 or universal. All kids get a high-quality instruction, regardless of the teacher, regardless of your background. And so that's where our work is done. We've identified this as our high-leverage model, and we're starting to roll it out first with staff leaders, which we'll be doing next week, and then with all the staff during professional development next year. So that's all we're all continuing to do. You know, the literacy changes we've made K-12 as well, so those things don't go away. But now we're just putting a little framework about it and being very intentional and saying, this is what high-quality, culturally responsive instruction looks like in the McFarland School District. And this is how we'll know that it's being done, the indicators. So that's for that pillar. I also put down here just so we don't lose track of where we came from, because last year we were identifying, evaluating, and outlining instructional systems and choosing one to best support. So we've chosen one, and now we're moving forward with it. Moving to family and community engagement, synthesizing and analyzing family and community data to identify gaps and potential opportunities that exist. And we're using this information to address the gaps. You saw that in the presentation that I did, I think it was at the last board meeting, about the survey results in our community engagement tool. So we created that tool, administered that tool, analyzed those results. Remember, this is all in our effort to bridge meaningful and constructive communication and partnerships to ensure more equitable access, representation, and voice. And you can see that reflected in these three areas: communication, volunteer, increasing opportunities for families and community to volunteer, and more opportunities for feedback. So you'll see that as a real theme here. You'll also see that next week when you have my mid-year evaluation as a real focus about, instead of our communication being to families, partnering in decision-making with families. So doing that through more opportunities for random questions, but also focus group opportunities. So that's what's next for us in that pillar. And you can see this was before, we were just kind of like trying to get some baseline in our work. We had a lot, we didn't have some good data back then. There's a couple objectives in exceptional staff. We want to have an inclusive work environment that fosters open communication, collaboration, growth, and support to promote high levels of well-being for our staff. Pause for dramatic effect, because that's really important to focus on that word. And also actively recruit and retain a diverse staff representative of our global society. So,
And Aaron, how do we define well-being?
we don't have a formal definition of well-being other than the indicators that we use in that staff survey as well as our retention rates. So I guess that's how we define it, I guess, right? Staff are here and happy is usually what I say.
But that's a goal next year, to see that one in
Yeah.
particular.
So I would say if you were to ask me, the well-being is about workload, your satisfaction. I enjoy coming to work every day. Those are, I think, some 3 big indicators.
And I think that's a really good example of well-being.
Yeah. And so we really want to, one of the things I want to talk about is just building these stronger teams. So how are we using the time that we have to collaborate among staff? We'll continue our communication efforts, but really that collaborations in teams and across teams. So you see, we want to assess that and develop a framework for what that collaboration truly looks like and best practices for that. We start that next week already. Working, kind of our model is to work with the leaders first and then they take it out to their teams. The other objective about recruiting and retaining, a reminder that we participated in an equitable hiring practices training, and we've been redesigning our hiring process for this year. That includes our postings, our interview questions, and our review process. So that has been very intentional. We're trying some new things this hiring season, and that will continue to evolve. So a standard hiring process. Without having a human resources director, we tend to be a little bit building specific in some of our hiring practices, so.
But if there's a template for everyone to follow.
Yep.
That certainly minimizes
Yep.
the differences.
And that training was real clear on what words to use, words not to use. How do you make your materials accessible to people instead of all jargon? And then lastly is resource allocation. Obviously, we want to have a fiscally and environmentally responsible operation plan that's equitable, sustainable, and adaptable to our evolving needs, and deepen our investment in district diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. So you'll see here what we've been doing and you've experienced is when we're looking at our annual budget, aligning that to the pillars. What are our priorities? The one I always bring as being a good example of when we did that was with the student services staffing.
Yep.
That we said this was a priority for student mental health and social emotional learning, and so you saw that investment there in that staff.
And there's really already been an impact.
Yeah.
I would
You
say
know,
so.
and that was
Comments.
just very
Mm-hmm.
short time
Yep.
ago, so,
Yep.
yeah, I think that's a real positive.
Yeah, and so that's the idea. And that really guided the work of that additional budget changes staff advisory group too, was going back, what's the impact to that first pillar, academic excellence? And or educational excellence, excuse me. And what's the impact to our third pillar for staff, so. So that came through, and then we're working on our Brittany Braswell, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Belonging Coordinator. It has this plan that she's been developing now that she's got a year in and knows the district, with how we're infusing that work in everything that we do as opposed to have it being in additive. So she's playing a key role in our equitable multi-level systems of support development. so that what effective instruction looks like at a universal level for all kids, it's embedded within that. It's not a DEIB curriculum. It's just part of who we are for all kids. And then lastly is, I just wanted to show you the metrics that we've been working with. So we don't have our statewide testing data to compare these indicators here, so we're trying to shrink gaps. That's what those are for the educational excellence. Focused on language, English language arts, but in relation to first all students, but then white students and students of color, students with and without disabilities, students who are and who are not socioeconomically disadvantaged, and then gender as well. Because you can see we have, our baseline has gaps in these four areas, excuse me. And then we will be looking at the connection index of the student survey. I belong at school because I have health relationships, that one. That will be a key indicator for us to track our growth. We do have progress, as you noted and has been shared with you in our survey results in both of these areas, family and community engagement and exceptional staff. We don't have our professional staff retention rate yet for this year. I think it'll be very similar to what it was, about 95% there, which is very high. And resource allocation, we don't have a great way to measure that other than having a balanced budget that meets student needs. It kind of, the way we interpreted it is if we're doing well in our resource allocation, it's reflected in the other three areas. And then these, just for your reference, are just, if you're wondering what questions make up the index on the survey, just to give you a sense. So that's the update. What questions, comments do you have for me?
It's going to be interesting when we do our formative evaluation. In some ways, this fits in really well.
It does.
It does. It's amazing. I'm like, wow.
Which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, your expectations for me should be the strategic implementing.
There should be a direct relation, yeah.
And Aaron, we went from you providing the report, update 4 times a year to twice a year, is that correct?
Yes.
How do you feel that's going?
I mean, it meets my needs, but because I feel like if you have it too often beyond just the regular updates I provide to you, I think it can feel a little performative, you know, and in this way we're able to capture some larger changes.
I appreciate the timing for this.
Yeah.
So I will say, I woke up with this start this morning thinking like, oh my gosh, I haven't filled out the survey. It was like somewhere in the back of my head.
Yeah.
And then went down, and was going through my emails, went, oh, okay. I don't have to do that.
No.
So, yeah, doing it too often, I think would be.
Yeah, well, I think
This
we're
is
good.
good.
on-
Yeah.
We're learning, right?
Yes.
Anything else? Moving on,
just more
update
good.
from the CISA 2 Board of Control, Mr. Mooney.
Okay, it was last 2 Tuesday nights ago when we had the tornado drill or tornado warnings.
Oh, boy.
So.
That's happened to you before there,
Yes.
hasn't it?
And we decided to hold the meeting virtually because of the weather conditions. So we started the meeting out, and then half the people ended up in their basements. So we lost some, but anyways, it was conducted via the Zoom because of the tornadoes around. They talked about, this month, we talked about the professional resource centers and the types of services that they provide to school districts if you're a member. The resources for teachers and students, such as the professional library, adaptive student equipment, assistive technology, learning materials, student assessments, student transitions, et cetera. These are all things that, many things that our district has taken advantage of in the past. Our hearing impaired teachers, an example, not of the resource center, but of the contract that we do with CISA. There's only 3 other CISAs that offer professional resource centers in the state, and all 3 are funded by grants.
How many are there altogether,
I
Tom?
think there's around 12.
CISAs?
That
Yeah.
sounds,
Yeah, it sounds right.
That's my memory. but-
Okay. And at one time, we had a CISA branch in Madison and one down
Yes.
by Kenosha years ago.
12.
And then they
Interesting.
combined because of fiscal issues. Right now, the board is supporting the administration from CISA 2 in their strategic planning process of the professional resource centers to see what the future direction is for them. I've talked about purchase services from CISA 2, where districts can go through CISA, being the middleman, and they contact the vendors. And actually, the model that they've created is becoming a nationwide model for them. So what has been done here is going to be expanded. CISA line of credit is $500,000. It's been the same for the past 3 years, and CISA 2 has not even touched that. So they have a lot of fiscal responsibility in what they've been doing. Again, Head Start, CISA 2 does coordinate a Head Start. I think it's in Jefferson County, on personnel, transportation, and grants. And that is at this point. And then we spent a lot of the time on administrative performance evaluation. And that concludes this report.
anybody have any questions, comments?
Tom,
Thank-
you're really good.
Yeah, thanks very much, Tom. We appreciate your diligence in following these things, even when you're under threat of
Yeah.
severe weather. That's
I didn't go
really
in the
good.
basement. I remained in the kitchen.
We
But
went down in the garage.
I don't know if we had the tornado drill or warnings here, did we?
We did.
Yes,
We
did.
sat outside.
We had a
I guess-
referendum engagement
A lot of
meeting.
people.
And I did hear the sirens going off, and I did hear the weather station going off. Oh, well.
Our referendum engagement group just kept moving along.
Yep.
That's right. You're courageous.
Nothing will stop that
That's
group.
right. We're
Okay,
tough.
school
We're tough.
safety, written drill evaluation, notification, and review per Wisconsin State Statute 118.07 for CP. Mr. Tarnitzer?
Yep, so you can see there's two in your packet. Those are two administrative holds to protect student privacy that were carried out in different buildings since our last board meeting.
Okay.
I appreciate receiving these, Karen. It happened, it's only happened once, where a community member has asked me about an emergency that happened. I was just able to provide a little more information without crossing that confidentiality line. And just reassuring this particular parent that everything's handled well. There's a whole process set up
That's all they need
to keep
Yeah.
all
That's it, yep.
kids safe.
Okay, thanks very much, Tom. District Administrators Report.
All right, so some things going on around, some recognitions to have. Obviously, congratulations to our spring athletic team, some of whose season is continuing, but a lot of shout outs there for successful seasons for those that have been concluded. The referendum engagement committees have concluded this round of their meetings, so 3 sets of 2 meetings in preparation for our next steps, which is really getting the survey out, which went out to staff today, just to share 3 options for possible future referendum, all of which reflect the $1.2 million in budget reductions that were done in 2 months' time. And then what will happen with that process is that information, the results will come back, will be presented to that group, to this board, and then we'll present those results to the community as well to get additional feedback, answer additional questions, all of which is meant to inform the board, who will receive additional information from the referendum engagement group in regards to any recommendations they have for a future referendum question, which is ultimately the decision of the board, should be made no later than August 27th. Ideally, we'd like to make that decision earlier, like on August 5th, for example, which is the first board meeting in August, should that be the case. But really pleased with how that work turned out. Learned so much and continue to keep in touch with those fine people. We also just today put together a updated website that has budget information. So
Excellent.
did that today through some exciting work there.
Everything is kind of on schedule?
Yep, everything's on schedule so far, so good. So I think we had, what was the number, Angie, of 59 staff that filled out the survey or something? 49 so far that have filled out the survey. So,
Oh, wow.
and it was sent this morning.
Perfect.
And I have not filled out the survey. So additional budget cuts committee, they met and finalized their recommendations that went back through the department leads. Basically, budget managers received this recommendations for how they could cut 10% of their budgets. So they're now finalizing those decisions, but you'll see things like reduced professional development opportunities, reduced supplies, things like furniture, those kind of items. There's some interest in offsetting some costs by increasing some student fees, which can be difficult. But that is the financial reality that we're in, and that's how we're coming up with that $500,000. Part of that is how we come up with that $500,000. That's in addition to the $700,000 of staff reductions. And thank you. It is music season, so thank you to our amazing music department. All of the concerts we've had. You saw some of those high school ones. Let's not forget about the orchestra concert that happened, sixth grade band concert that happened. So just amazing time showcasing the talent of our kids. You mentioned senior exit interviews. I always want to give a shout out to our community members who take time to sit and learn from our seniors. And also the senior parade is just a great event. I just love it. That's when I get all choked up. This year I was able to get down to Conrad Albion Primary School and see those kindergartners with the seniors, and that's where it all happens, those bookends. So really special. Also was the Wabisa Olympiad. So Megan Chapman and I were able to get over there.
It was so
and
fun.
see some of that, yeah. A lot of energy.
Oh, my Lord. Like, I was tired after walking through that
Yeah.
school.
That was always my favorite
Yeah.
event to participate in.
And the
It's
weather was beautiful.
Yeah, the weather was gorgeous, and it's so well designed, the way they have downtime built in. It was really, really interesting. So great event, a lot of parent volunteers,
Mhm.
so thank you.
It was a well-oiled machine. I don't know how they did it.
Yeah,
It's from years of experience.
Yeah.
it is.
That's for sure.
I'll share some photos from around as well. Ooh, sorry, that's an error. You can't share your screen. Well, I disagree. Didn't want me to share. There we go. If at first. All right, look at them. Batting in PE at CEPS. God, it's such a gorgeous gym, isn't it?
It really
Yeah.
is.
It's really nice, but I love that they're, really getting into it there. You can see that.
Getting ready for T-ball.
Yeah, it's pretty important. Spreading some seeds there, keeping that prairie restoration underway. I don't know that much about the Wabisa Prairie. That's something I should really learn more about. But
Where is that located?
I was just going to say, where is it?
it's right next to
It's kinda
Wabisa.
It's
yeah.
up on that
Behind
hill.
the
It's up on that
playground.
hill, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Got plenty of water today.
Yeah, we're doing well. I thought this was really a neat event, having this first generation club at the middle school. So you can see school counselor Joe Rundy there with the students, and they had a multicultural potluck. So what a great event. I just love that. Here you see some more of the volunteering pictures for that 7th grade group. There they are at the Larson House doing some planting. The youth center, getting rid of an old couch, it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Marking storm drains. Look at that.
Oh,
That's a
wow.
lot of wood chips.
That is a lot.
Spreading that out. You're welcome. That's great. I love that. Oh, 6th grade, the final money unit market. I didn't get to any markets this year. That's one of the perks of being a superintendent is you get to go to all the markets. But great thing, right? They do the simulation for financial literacy. And always a fun event. And it all builds up to the auction at the end of the year. There's that middle school choir concert. Numbers are exploding at middle school choir.
Holy buckets.
So it's a good problem to have. Marketing students got to go and hear from resident business owner Sean O'Hearn about the McFarland House Cafe. What a great opportunity. I love that kind of stuff. Thank you, Sean. Here you see, I love the excitement. Signing day.
I think that was fantastic.
Really bright.
One of those two young men participated when the state school superintendent came in, and we had a kind of a conversation in here, and he did a fantastic job.
And Dave Jones was there too, and really proud of that partnership. So thank you to everybody involved in that. The Cancer Awareness Week raised money, almost $1,000 there. What kids will do for a free half a class period. Really fun. The fundraisers here are so creative and well received. Just a couple of many pictures from the Biotech Youth Apprenticeship Night. Again, our Youth Apprenticeship program is the envy of other districts, and I just think it's fun to see the pride the students have sharing their work. Crystal Apple Honorable Mention recipient right here, our very own Brian Hahn, certainly very deserving. If you're ever feeling down, just stop by.
One of a kind there.
He's got your back.
He sure does.
Excellent teacher. And a special recognition for
wow, look at his hair.
Backstage, look at that. Our very
Wow.
own Ben Becks.
How Ben has grown.
Yes,
Wow.
he has. Many years of service. He's enjoyed many board meetings over the years. And he started when he was a student here.
Right.
Wow.
And then
Right.
moved on and continued through while at Madison College and now, of course, in his big role there at the Village of McFarland Communications and Technology Department. So we are so thankful to you, Ben, and we are so grateful for your service. We will let you enjoy Monday nights. You're always welcome back. And if you would be able to come out from backstage, we do have something for you. Let's see, this feels kind of weird to say, come out from behind the curtain.
Behind the door. You can, Ben. There we
Yay! So Angie has a little something to thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
But
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
You are
Seriously,
such a
you've been-
talented, amazing human, and I've known you for a long, long time. And it's just, I'm sad that I won't be able to see you every other Monday, so.
Yeah, I'm a bit heartbroken too.
Yeah, it's been great. So thank you so much for your service.
You do a great job, Ben.
Thank you.
You have,
You really do.
yes.
Even when there's surprises, right?
You're not wrong there. Thank you guys.
Live for surprises.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, we won't rehash that. Surprise that we're all thinking of. All right, so that concludes my update on recognitions. I will update some upcoming events. If you have other things to share at the end, that's great about recognitions. It's National Safety Month. It's LGBTQIA plus Pride Month. The flag raising was just today.
And they look nice out there.
They look really nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we went out there to do a flag raising right as it started downpouring. Some students sat out there and they were just like, no, I'm not missing this.
Love it.
I think that's fantastic.
Yeah, it went really well. National Dairy Month. We also, Wednesday will be the 8th grade recognition ceremony and dance. And June 6th is the last day of school for students, just to make sure, especially with those with kids in the district, that you know. And then Friday morning at 7:30, we start our end-of-year recognition.
7:30?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great event, too.
7:30.
Where's it at?
Good, that was on my calendar.
Yes,
Eight.
it'll be in the PAC, and then it's followed by a kind of grab-and-go breakfast that will be in the multi-purpose room, or the black box
Yeah.
of the high school, after we recognize our outstanding staff members, including former board member Kate Green,
Yay.
who will be in attendance.
And we had always done that after school,
The school.
you know,
Yeah,
off-site
that's nice.
someplace. So this is I'm sure, a welcome change to the folks that would prefer to go home.
Yeah,
How long
it's-
you're such a great time estimator. How long are you anticipating that going?
It should be done by 9 for the recognition part.
Okay.
That's our goal, but
Okay.
it might be a little bit later.
I'm so glad you said something. It was in my calendar for 8:30.
Sometimes we can't, sometimes some people talk more than others, but our words are limited. Except I went over my word a lot.
Is the board sitting together like last year or not?
It's really up to you.
You
We
read
can
my
sit anywhere.
mind.
Okay, good.
Okay, let's do it.
You what?
Sit
Sit
together.
together. Is there a dress code?
No.
Okay.
No.
No, just the usual school dress code.
Which,
Let's-
very
Trying
happy to
really
hear
hard.
that jeans are allowed per the
Yes.
comments I saw on there.
Yes, they are, just for $1. No, I'm just kidding.
It's like, what kind
And
of
then
phasing thing is
after that event, if you're able to join, is Wisconsin Virtual Academy's graduation ceremony. So DCA, Destination Career Academy, is at 1:30. According to my notes here, Insight is
Correct.
followed right after that, and then WEVA that evening at 6 at Madison College.
Please let me know if you plan on joining those, because I will make sure to notice it legally, should
Yes.
that be the case.
If
For
3
the,
of you
for the
plan
Viva
on.
ones?
Yes.
Okay.
I will not be in attendance.
I will not be in attendance either, unfortunately.
I don't
Sadly.
think I can either. That's this Friday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it is.
And then Sunday, of course, is graduation at 11. And then next week, Flag Day, Robert La Follette Senior Day. The Juneteenth celebration is on Sunday, the 16th, from 11 to 3 at Larson Park. That is largely sponsored by our Black Student Union. And then we'll be back here on the 17th for a board meeting. Reminder, I didn't share in this, but Monday, the 10th, is your opportunity to provide me with valuable feedback on my performance.
So, quick question on graduation.
Yes.
What time do we need to be here?
Usually half an hour,
It's, I think, around 10:30.
10:30.
And we get the fun little,
You get,
Actually, we don't, I don't think.
do we not wear the roby things?
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
No, we're just.
you'll get a corsage, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I get to wear the fun roby thing.
Okay. Good to know.
The staff.
It's the official name for it.
Okay.
The staff too, yes. Yeah, so. it'll be
10:30 in the B
very
gym,
fun.
probably.
Okay.
Your best bet.
Okay.
10:30 gives you plenty of time.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Too much
And
time.
really,
but-
the other board members smile and are very encouraging. Craig has work to do. He's a handshaker. So,
Awesome.
right?
Look forward
I mean,
to
that's,
it.
that's
Yeah,
all, that's what I
true.
remember.
Favorite day
We
of the
just-
year.
Yeah.
We get to sit there and look pretty.
Time to go shopping. Just kidding. Somewhat.
But yes, arriving at 10:45, I can tell you by experience, it's not perfect.
It's a little-
Okay.
It's a little,
It's not
gets a
what?
little
Full
rushed.
tight.
Okay.
Full tight.
Good to know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that's when I've arrived in the past, and it wasn't great.
Maybe 15 minutes earlier is better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have,
So 10:30.
10:30, I'm there.
Yep.
Any other recognitions?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have some?
You go for it.
Go ahead.
Okay, should we like Roshan before?
Sure, we can do that.
Yeah, I have three. So one is for Tom. I really do, I'm super grateful for the updates that you provide. I'm sure I've mentioned it before, but you're very thorough, and it's definitely on things that I personally don't have capacity to keep up on, and so I'm grateful that we have a representative who can do that, so thank you.
You're well second that.
And then also, just watching other boards operate, I'm continually grateful for our ability to work as a team and to be present and engaged during meetings. There's a lot of other groups that I see that are very distracted and not engaged, haven't done their homework, and I'm really grateful for that. And then the last, I don't think we've talked much about this, but one of our board goals, was to have a new board member orientation process. I think Erin's talked about it a little bit, but, and I just wanted to give a shout out to Erin for setting that up. Like, it was our board goal for the year.
Yes.
And, I don't think that the board actually had to do much to get that executed. So it was a lot of Erin, and I, serving formally as Megan's mentor, I sat through a lot of those things, as many as I could, and it's so thorough, and there's really great documents that go with it to help orient new board members, and, I learned a lot, even though I've been on the board for 2 years. And it involves, meeting with the district administration, the director levels, tours of the schools, and then an actual overview from Erin. But I just think I wanted to make sure that we recognize that, because that's one of our goals, and it's a really great process and documentation. So thank you.
But thank you for doing it.
Mhm.
Yes. Being the mentor.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
That's.
And having to work with her.
No.
Oh, wait. Oh, wait.
No, it's okay, it's okay.
No put downs,
Well,
Bruce.
I will say, as the individual who got to experience the onboarding, it was very thorough and very overwhelming. So I appreciate your patience as I get up to speed. And thank you for
It
being
will
a
help you
wonderful
get up
mentor.
to speed better.
Thank
It's
you.
true. It's true. No, that is, being mentor has been easy.
Thanks.
I thought we were going to alternate. What happened to that?
What were we gonna, on mentors?
No, but you were going to say one thing. I was
Oh,
gonna
I'm
say,
sorry, I
yeah,
just
way to
stole
go.
the whole
Yeah,
show.
yeah. Becky
My
Heim.
apologies.
Becky Heim has taught kindergarten since she's been here from day one. She's retiring this year. All I can say is that she is one heck of a gem of a teacher. Parents, kids have loved her consistently throughout her tenure here. I've completely enjoyed her. She's just one of a million. Beth Canfield, we're organizing the senior exit interviews. I'm not sure how she puts it all together. And this year was not optional, it was required, but it was a drop-in service. So I'll be eager to see how that goes after she compiles her data for us. Danielle Edgerton, through Student Services, organizing all the scholarship information, being a member of the Lions Club and the Optimist Club. I really appreciate all the work and guidance she provided to us. So it'll be much easier next year as we continue to provide those scholarships. And finally, Sue Richardson from Food Service. Talking about Miss Optimism. She's been with us for years. If you ever need a ray of sunshine or a word of hope or encouragement, just see Sue. She is another one in a million staff members here, and I'm sure the district will miss her.
Yes. Luckily, we'll see her walking around the neighborhood.
True.
As it were.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Anything else? I can echo that the 6th grade band concert was excellent. And also, there was at least 50 kids that were in that single grade band. And I was there early in this year, and it was real difficult to recognize exactly what songs were being played. And they improved so much from that time, you know, to last week. It was just amazing. And I've got a grandson there, and he was all excited. They had a big surprise, but he couldn't tell anybody what it was. And it just turned out that they played an extra song. They played On Wisconsin.
Oh,
And
that's
it just, it was just an absolute delight, you know, and to see that many kids. Now, I understand that things happen that, you know, you're not gonna carry 60 kids all the way through, but that's remarkable. Those are really, really good, strong numbers. And it was a blast. It's just a blast.
Making music.
Anything else? If not, we'll move on to our action items. Action on intergovernmental park development agreement with the Village of McFarland for the inclusive park at Waubesa Intermediate School. And I would look for a motion to approve that.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Megan. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Megan. Discussion?
I have a question about, in the document, thanks for providing all that information. I know some of it was more historical in nature. It talked about access to the park during the school days by members of the community. Can you just sort of review again, Jeff, what that entails? Because I have a question about that.
Sure. Did you want me
Well, let me ask you a
Explain.
question.
Go
Okay.
ahead and ask your
So,
question.
I'm a grandparent of a youngster preschooler who requires the use of an adaptive playground. I'm out for their daily walks and all that stuff, we're going to go up and use it. But there may be times when it's not available. Can you explain what those times would be, and how would I know that as a community member?
So the intended plan will be on school days, which are about 170 out of
Mhm.
365 days. During the lunchtime, which at Waubesa is roughly about 11 to 1 timeframe,
Mhm.
is when we'd be asking our community to not use that
Okay.
inclusive park.
Good
And
clarification.
it would be posted,
That
Okay.
makes sense.
and
And-
it would be notified.
And that makes a lot of sense. I wasn't quite sure if you were talking about whenever kids are in school,
Nope.
you know, that would be
Yeah.
off limits.
Just the lunch period.
So,
During
okay.
the morning recesses and afternoon recesses, which are run by the classrooms,
Mhm.
they will use mostly just the school playground and not the inclusive
Yeah,
playground.
okay.
Sure.
But during lunch, we want to be able to let our kids.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Okay,
That was,
thanks.
I had a similar question because it was a little vague in the document, but that's good.
Anything else? If
That
not,
project, again, for the inclusive won't be done until mid-September.
Yeah.
But the school playground will be done.
for the
in
start of
August.
school? Okay. No further discussion. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously, 5-0. Action on appointment of 2024-2025 medical advisor. As per policy, annually, the district will arrange for a qualified individual to serve as the medical advisor. At this time, we recommend the appointment of Thomas Merwin, MD, for the 24-25 school year. Do I have a motion to accept?
I'll make that motion. I
Bruce?
move to approve the appointment of Thomas Merwin, MD, as the district medical advisor for the 2024-25 school year as recommended by administration.
Thank you, sir. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you, Tom. Discussion?
Is there some reason why this is an annual action item versus like a 2-year commitment?
That's per board policy.
Is it something
So
that we should
I think
take
we could,
a look at?
the board could revise that policy. I don't think there's any legal statutory requirement for you to do it annually.
Mhm.
He's provided great leadership.
Oh,
Yeah, he has.
I certainly could
He's done a
double check
wonderful
that.
It just seems like each year, yeah, we have to vote again on it.
Yeah. Well, we could take it up.
Yeah, that's
Well, we can thank him every year, which is important.
There we go.
Yes.
Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously, 5-0, and I would look for a motion to adjourn.
I'm gonna give that one. I'm motion.
Oh, okay. Do I have a second?
So moved.
I'll second.
Megan? All right. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. It's unanimous. We are adjourned at 8:49.
Okay.
Not bad, not bad.
Go, Bruce, go!
Before we depart,